Hi guys and welcome to Siska Stitches. Today's tutorial is going to be on how to make this high waist pencil skirt with the ruffle design. If you're new to my channel, I say welcome. If you're an old subscriber, I say welcome back. Do click the subscribe button and also click the notification bell so you get notified whenever Siska Stitches posts new videos. And if you want to see a tutorial on how I made the blouse I'm wearing in this picture, I'll link it up in the description box and then we can begin. I've made my pattern. I'm going to link the tutorial for this high waist skirt pattern in my description box as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut the pattern out on my fabric. So I have the center front, it is written on fold right there. So I ensure that my fabric is folded and I place that part on my pattern where it is written on fold. I place it at the folded part of the fabric and I pin it down to hold it in place so that cutting can be easy, and then I just go ahead and cut it out. This is what I have, and my allowance on my pattern at the bottom is 1/2 inch. So I'm adding another 1/2 inch, making it a total of 1 inch because I don't want my hem to be very tiny, and then I'll just go ahead and cut it out. After doing this, I'm going to repeat the same thing for the back. What I do is just place the pattern on my fabric, ensure that my fabric is folded, and I cut it at once. And of course the back is going to be in 2 pieces because of the zipper allowance. You can see how curved the zipper area is. If you want to understand why, there's a tutorial for that on my channel. I'm going to link that as well in the description box. So guys, now I have both fabrics cut out and ready. So what we're going to be doing is a dart transfer from the pattern paper to the fabric, and I'm going to show you how I'm able to do that. So in order to do a dart transfer, I need my office pins. So I'll just place the office pins at the dart points right at the top of the skirt pattern. I ensure that it goes through the pattern paper to the fabric. I also place it at the end of the dart as well, at the pointed part. And then what I'm going to do is flip it over and ensure that the pins stick out, ensure that they are straight. And what we are going to do is use a ruler to join the point. So from that top, I'm joining it to that single point at the dart end to form my triangular dart. That's exactly how to do a dart transfer. So we've just done one side of the front panel of the skirt. What I'm going to do now is to take out the pattern paper so that I can, do the darts on the other side. Because the pins left like a mark on my fabric, I'm just going to go ahead and join those points. But if your fabric is not showing those pins, please go ahead and use the pins to transfer your dart from this point, from this part of the fabric to the other side of the fabric, exactly as I did from the pattern paper to the fabric, to the first part of the fabric. So I'm joining the points now, and whatever I do right here, I'm going to repeat the same thing for the back piece. I've done for both panels, both front and back, and like I said, we go ahead and sew the darts in place. I'm done sewing the dart, and I've also pressed it as well, and I like to press my dart excess towards the center front and also towards the center back. You can see that the zipper allowance area is curved, and my zipper allowance is 1.5 inches. So I just marked 1.5 inch from the top to the bottom, ensuring that it follows the curve because we don't want to miss that out. And now we are going to be placing our ruffles. So I have this fabric. The length is twice the length of the skirt, and it is folded into 2 and sewn at all the ends. So what I'm going to do is place it at one of the side seams. So I've sewn a loose stitch or a gathered stitch, which I'm going to pull so that it forms gathers. So the reason I folded this fabric into 2, because organza can appear very full. As you can see, the fullness is actually showing. For the width, you can decide how wide you want the ruffle to be. That one is up to you. But for the length, I ensured that it was twice the length of the skirt. So for the placement, what I'm going to do is to open up my skirt. So I'll be placing that ruffle on the right side of the fabric. So what I'm going to do is mark the side seam allowance of 1 inch and draw it all the way down. Please ensure that you measure as you go along so that you can have an accurate marking. Pin the ruffle to the fabric. So where I made the seam on the ruffle, I pinned it on the marking on the main fabric, and then I went ahead to stitch that part. So that's exactly what I did. So I've done that, I've stitched it. So what I'm going to do is to go ahead and place the back piece, one of the back pieces. I lined the side seam to this part, and the reason I stitched the organza first was such that it would be easy for me to sew without having to restitch. So I've pinned this down. I'm going to go ahead and sew it with the seam allowance required. I've done that now. This is what I have, and yeah, I've done it on both ends, on both sides, sorry. And then we'll go ahead and fix our zipper. So I've marked this already, the zipper allowance, following the curves. So from top to bottom we have 1.5 inch, even if it is curved. And I've gone ahead to pin the zipper on that mark, so that it will be easy for me to follow the curves while I'm sewing the zip to the skirt. And I ensured that this part was sticking up, the remaining part of the zipper was sticking up, so that I'll be able to tuck that into the band, and my zipper can close up very fully at the top. So that is why I have it like that at the top. And once I sew one side of the zipper, I go ahead and sew the other part of the zipper on the seam allowance that I have marked. I've sewn the zipper. This is what I have, and you're going to see how neat this is. So it's the same butterfly machine that I have that I use, and that machine comes with a zipper foot. After sewing the zipper, I zipped it up, and then we are going to be sewing from the bottom of the zipper to where we want that to end. So I want my slit to be about 8 inches. You can go with 7 inches, you can go with 8 inches, but first I marked my 1 inch hemming allowance. Whichever length you decide to go with, what you're going to do is sew from the bottom of where your zipper ends up until that point. So that is exactly what I'm going to do, and I'll be going with 8 inches. So I've done that now. This is what I have, and you can see how neat this looks, guys. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and attach the band. So I've cut my band pattern in my previous video. I'll link that up, and I use that to cut the fabric. So this is what I have. What I'm going to be doing to let my band have a little body, a little bit of structure, is to use a fusible interfacing, also known as air stay. So I'm just going to use a pressing iron to fuse that my main fabric to the interfacing. I've pressed the seam allowances on this fabric at both sides and both ends. What I'm going to do now is to flip that open and then go ahead and stitch the seam allowance on this end. And then before I flip that in, I just want to cut the little bit of excess so that that end is not very bulky. And then I fold it in like so. So I've pinned my band to my skirt, and I'm going to explain how I was able to do this. And you can see that the end of the zipper is sandwiched in between the band. So in order to pin this down, what I did was to match the end of my skirt, the top of my skirt, sorry, to the seam allowance of the band inside, and both of them are half an inch. So I just went with that, ensure that they match together, closed it up, and then used my pins to hold it in place. So this helped me with sewing this band very easily, but you need to continuously check to ensure that you're sewing your band well. So I've sewn this other end as well. I'm just going to tuck it in, push it out so it pokes out nicely, and then I'll go ahead and fold the allowance in, and then match my the top of the skirt to the allowance of the band, and then pin it in place. And I went ahead to stitch the band very close to the edge, and I sewed it from the top so that it is neater on the top. And that's it, guys. You can go ahead and attach your hook and eye to the skirt band so that it closes up nicely. So guys, this is result of the sewing process. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'm going to see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.